We have learned some of the flex properties, and now it's time to move on to our project. And before moving on to our project, let me select all the element and remove the default padding and margin from the project. As you can see, we have margin and padding to our layout. By removing this margin and padding, we need to use a selector which is used to select all the element inside the HTML. So this selector will select all the element inside the HTML, and this selector, which is asterisk, and it is used to select all the element inside the HTML. So right now we have selected all the element. We say margin equals to 0, and we say padding 0 as well. And when we save the file and when we refresh the page, you will see the margin and padding, which is defaultly activated, is now removed. And so let's move on to our project. So now we are good to go. So as for the display properties which we have given to the nav and to the nav items, we will remove all the flex properties. Let's remove it. So we have removed the flex properties, and we are going to add these property in a different way. We will be creating classes for every flex properties, and by these classes we will implement whenever we want. So let's make classes, then we will implement these classes individually. So let's scroll up. So let's start from here, and so let's say, so this section we say is for flex classes. We'll say flex classes. So that's better. So right now here we're gonna add our flex classes. So we will make a class of dot flex, and we'll say this flex means display flex. So the flex class right now is going to be the display flex property. Whenever we use flex in our element, the element will be the flex container. So it will be easy for us to make a flex container whenever we want. So this flex class represent the display flex property. So let's move on to another property, and let's make a row. So we have learned about the flex direction. So we'll say fd short flex direction, we'll say row, and this means the flex direction will be row. And let's copy this and paste it 4 times, and for the second class we'll say column, and here we'll say column. So this flex direction column now representing by this class. Whenever we say fd column, the flex direction will be set to column, to the flex container. And another value is row reverse. So here we'll say row reverse, and we will copy this and we will paste it here and say this class is now fd row reverse, which is flex direction row reverse. And for the last property we'll say column reverse, and we will copy this and we'll paste it here. So let me make it shorter, reduce some spaces. So let's implement these. When we go to our HTML file, we'll say this nav we want to be a flex container. So we will simply say flex, and this will be a flex container. So let's refresh the page. As you can see, the nav is right now a flex container simply by adding a flex class which we have created here. We don't need to add a flex direction row. By default it is automatically set to flex direction row. So we're gonna create class for flex grow. So let's say we will create flex1 class, and we'll say this flex1 mean flex, and the grow value is 1, and we'll save it. And before saving it we will say this value is important, so we will put our important value beside this value. So we'll say important, and right now this value will be important. Whenever we use this class, this property will be important and it will work. So let's add this flex1. So let's copy this, and let's add some div. So let's say we need our flex items grow equally. So we'll say flex1 here, and flex1 here, and flex1 here. So let's save the file and let's refresh the page. As you can see, we have equally grow every item inside the flex container. So what we have done here, we just put a flex1 class, and it is given the flex1 value to the item, and it given the flex1 property. That is how we add our property inside our project, and step by step you will learn each and every property, and we will discuss more of these later, and we will add step by step all the flex classes inside this flex section. So that's it for now, and see you in the next lecture.